If you've watched anime or have played fighting games as far back as I have, you've probably noticed an occasional lady who has an arrogant laugh, sometimes with her hand next to her mouth, that goes, "Oh." This is called the Ojou-sama Laugh, or Noblewoman's Laugh, and it's very funny when it happens. It's just one of those tropes that I love, and since the very first times I heard it were in fighting games, I want to look at all the characters that got me attached to this laugh. I am simply judging on the laugh, both the quality and the utility. Is it a good Ohohoho? And when do they use it? Intro, win pose, taunt, during a super? The hand motion is not necessary, but it definitely enhances my Ojou-sama experience. Now, let's giggle with the top 10 Ojou-sama laughs in fighting games. Number 10. An Ojou-sama laugh has a different sting to it when it comes from the final boss. Mizuki from Samurai Shodown is a vengeful spirit who took over the body of a shrine priestess, and now she just wants to destroy stuff. She was the final boss in Samurai Shodown 2, and made appearances in later games of the original series run when they were doing expanded rosters. Honestly, I feel like I'm let off pretty easy if all she's going to do is laugh at me when she wins, since she has the power to release demons and turn humans into pigs. But still, it's kinda mean. Mizuki's Ojou-sama laugh is in her intro and in one of her win poses, and it's a very good laugh. The sound is a nice oh-ho-ho, but what makes it for me is that hand. Since she's a demon, she has a lanky demon arm with long fingers and nails, so seeing that hand reminds me of how horrifying she could be. You know, I'm not gonna ruin her good time if she's laughing at me. Keep those hands away from me. I also like the slight differences in poses between Samurai Shodown 2 and 6. 2 feels more arrogant, while 6 has happier eyes, so she seems a bit more jovial now. At the same time, I don't want to see that laugh in any form because she's the final boss. I've already sunk enough time and quarters into getting where she is on the arcade ladder that I don't need the extra salt in the wound with a taunting laugh, which is exactly why it does its job as an Ojou-sama laugh. Number 9. A big part of Skullgirl's aesthetic is paying homage to fighting game tropes as a whole, so of course there's gotta be an Ojou-sama laugh in there, and they gave it to the character who thinks everyone is beneath her, Black Dahlia. She's the Mafia's lead bodyguard who has become bored with fighting since no one can hurt her anymore because she's so elite. However, when she does get beaten, she's got a smile on her face since she's finally felt the pain of defeat. But if she's oh-ho-hoing at you, it's because she has the advantage. When she beats her opponent, she has a couple of victory poses, with the one relevant for this topic being her best oh-ho-ho. However, because Skullgirls knows how repetitive it gets when your character says the same thing for each attack or line over and over again, they have all of their characters do at least 2 takes of the same line in different intonations. So we have a few different variations on the classic Ojou-sama laugh from her.
Oh ho 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 ho!
She sneaks the laugh into a few other parts of the fight too. Her crouching light kick where she takes out a leg buzzsaw always features a ducking Ojou-sama laugh, and because she's looking for an opponent strong enough to hurt her, she has a withering Ojou-sama laugh as she gets knocked out because she's happy that she finally met that special opponent. And to note, she has an alternate gag voice where she's a good granny and is very nice to the opponent in all of her lines. The Ojou-sama laugh is still there, but it's definitely more jolly now, which is the joke of the voice. It shows that a mild adjustment to your oh-ho-ho changes the whole vibe around it.
Ow! My hip!
Number 8. Shoutouts to Jam from Guilty Gear, she's doing her best. I love chef characters, she's got a cute design, and she needs to raise money to fund her restaurant. I've heard she's not as popular in the fanbase as other characters, so I'm voicing my support for her if that's the case. As for her Ojou-sama Laugh, it's a great sound, but it doesn't feel as disrespectful as other laughs of this nature. She only did it in the Guilty Gear X part of the series during her throw, but there was no unique laughing pose or facial expression during it. In fact, her face seems to go blank during the throw, so the presentation of this laugh just boils down to being a soundbite. It's still funny though. She's basically laughing at you for getting caught in her grab as she does a flip, so she's in no position to do the Ojou-sama pose for the hand up gesture. She's doing a handstand. The fact that she's taunting you in the middle of a complex throwing maneuver with this laugh should show disrespect enough. So keep on being awesome, Jam. I hope to see you in another Guilty Gear game, even though that would mean that your restaurant is underfunded again.
You win!
Number 7. Bending the rules a bit here, but since the only times we get to see Cyberbots characters outside their mechs are in the Capcom crossovers, I'll count it. Cyberbots is a giant robot fighting game whose characters tend to be more well known when they appear in other games. The main character Jin is famous for his Marvel vs. Capcom appearances, and the topic of this entry, Devilot, is known for being an assist in the first Marvel vs. Capcom, and being the only Cyberbots rep in Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, which is a puzzle game. They even make fun of the fact that Cyberbots has a lack of relevancy in one of her win quotes by having her say, "What, you don't recognize me? Cyberbots is Capcom's #1 game." She gets to show way more personality in these crossovers though, since she's outside the mech with her cronies just being herself, while Cyberbots focuses on the giant robots fighting, with the characters in the corners sort of with a face cam to show what it looks like inside the mech. I don't even think Devilot laughs in her own game. I do love her creepy aesthetic here though. Anyway, for the topic of this video, they made up for her not being able to show her face much in her game of origin by having her do the Ojou-sama pose whenever she had the chance to pose. Official or in-game art loved doing the hand-on-face pose, and she even has the pinky out to make it classy. As for the action of laughing, in Puzzle Fighter, it's one of her standard taunts when you start getting an advantage over your opponent when you're solving the puzzle faster. It's very much what I would expect. Excellent sound, I can hear the ohs and hos, and I feel like I'm being looked down upon when I hear it. However, the laugh just comes out at random. It's not always when she's doing the hand near face pose. Like the pose itself is just another thing that she does. You have to put them together to get the full experience. That being said, I never noticed that the laugh doesn't always match up with the pose until I had to observe closely for this video. So it's one of those things you only notice when you're doing a super specific topic. Number 6. World Heroes brings together parodies or just reimaginings of famous and infamous people in history. Jeanne d'Arc is a version of Joan of Arc, and besides bringing a fun sword fighting style to the table, she brings 2 Ojou-sama laughs. The more traditional Ohohoho sounding one is during her whipping attack, where she turns her sword into a segmented whip and flails it around for a few seconds while going Ohohoho. Understandably, she cannot do the hand pose for this laugh since her hands are a bit busy here, but she saves that for the win pose. When she wins, she does the backhanded pose with her eyes closed as she does a slightly different laugh in tone. There's barely a change, but it still hits enough of the Ojou-sama beats.
Perfect!
My favorite part of this pose is she raises the hand that also holds her sword, so it's like she's taunting you with the sword that just defeated you, while adding insult to injury with that laugh. So we get to see her cool sword and her cool laugh at the same time. What a treat.
Perfect!
Number 5. Now that is a royal-ass laugh. Battle Arena Toshinden is a 3D weapon-based fighting game that was big for a few years in the 90s, but it feels deader than most other nostalgic fighting games now. I never see any re-releases or hear anyone bring it up, but if they do, Sophia is likely the character they remember since she appeared in all the big games of the series, and she was the sex appeal character who fights with a whip, and she was just cool in general. For the topic at hand, this is an elite Ojou-sama Laugh. She savors every O and ho of it, and it's really powerful. It's in all of her win poses, and of course she has to raise her hand for the maximum taunt. Her different win poses all end up with the same laugh and pose by the finish, but my favorite is when she does the no 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 finger right before the laugh. Though my favorite bit of flavor to this laugh is when she does it on the select screen. She's not even waiting for the fight to laugh at you. So with all the literal backhanded attacks in her fighting style, Sophia's haughty laugh is the cherry on top of your beatdown. Number 4.
Anna Williams wins. Anna Williams wins.
In terms of aesthetic, Anna Williams from Tekken is known for all of her provocative posing before or after rounds. In fact, I don't think her Ojou-sama Laugh is her most iconic action. It's either when she shakes her ass during the win pose when she taunts the opponent, or when she does this maneuver where she shakes her bust in victory. Is that supposed to be a dance, or is she just saying, hey look, didn't Tom Tucker do that in an episode of Family Guy? However, my favorite win pose was in Tekken 5 and 6 when she goes the full disrespect route by not just doing the classic Ojou-sama Ohohoho with the hand up, but she sits on the opponent while doing it. Now that's commitment to being very rude. With Anna being an underhanded fighter who portrays herself as this diva with all the riches in the world, this felt like the quintessential win pose for her and superseded everything else iconic about her to me. I don't recall her doing this win pose in appearances before these games, though she did laugh during the butt wiggle pose in Tekken 2, making that my runner-up favorite win pose for Anna.
You win.
Some of her other poses contain laughs here and there, but the point is, it's hard to match Anna's sit and laugh pose if you're looking for her best Ojou-sama moment.
You win.
Number 3.
Counter. Breakdown. Winner. Hilda.
Hilda from Under Night in Birth. Oh my god, this moment looks epic, it sounds epic, and it made my disrespectful super moves list because, well, did you hear that taunt during the super move? She summons spikes to impale you a few dozen times, and what does she do during this? She takes a seat on a cloud of darkness and laughs at you. Since the camera is more focused on the opponent taking all the hits, she's down in the corner, so you don't really get the satisfaction of seeing her during it, but you hear it. That laugh pierces through you like those blades of darkness, and it's happening alongside the machine gun-esque sound as the blades are coming in one after another to make that laugh feel like it's built into the attack. Plus, she escalates the heartiness of that laugh twice during these few seconds, basking in the glory of it. Finally, during her Infinite Worth Ultimate Super, which is a level above the other super move, the big startup animation for it gives us a nice close-up shot of the laugh, but in pose only. She talks over the animation, but it would probably sound just like how it does with the other super move, so we're not missing out. If anything, we should thank this super for giving us the most clear visual of Hilda laughing at us, and who doesn't want that?
相反するまばゆき闇よこの空虚なるベセルを満たせ In the darkness
ブレイクダウン
手加減してあげたんだけど気づいたかしら
Number 2. Tron Bonne's appearances in the Marvel vs. Capcom series make her one of my favorite fighting game characters of all time, which I'll probably go into more on another list that's not a gag topic. And one of the things that makes her so great is the personality all over her animations. She pilots her mech Gustav with the roof open, both for the visual appeal and because she takes part in the fighting a bit. But for the sake of this list, it gives her a chance to taunt. Tron will get up from her seat for a quick second to pull a Captain Morgan pose with her legs, and an Ojou-sama pose with her upper body, and an eye closed for good measure. It's a soundbite that's burned into my memory, but even more so than the arrogance of the laugh, the real power play is she leaves herself completely vulnerable against the world's greatest fighters and superheroes and people with weapons to do this laugh. She is nowhere near her robot controls if she needs to counterattack a moving opponent if she mistimes that taunt, though I think she knows the risk, because in the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 taunt, she moves cartoonishly fast. Look at that smear frame! She is moving at light speed to get back into position. Also, this reminds me of how much I miss sprites in fighting games. Anyway, thanks for the laughs, Tron. Hopefully you make it into Marvel vs. Capcom 4 if that ever happens.
Combo KO! Player 1 wins!
What a haul!
Number 1 is pretty obvious to me since she was the character I associated the most with this laugh for over a decade. I don't even know if she was the first character I heard do it, but I guess she's the most iconic. Number 1. Karine Kanzuki from Street Fighter is the pinnacle of the Ojou-sama Laugh. It boils down to a T what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it. She does it in her intro, her win pose, during her super moves. You can't escape it when fighting Karine. And the default of how I think the Ohohoho is supposed to sound from any Ojou-sama in any media comes directly from her Street Fighter Alpha 3 laugh. Also, that hand is posh, plus her face is really good during it. She has that mouth stretched wide for maximum oh-ho-ho-ness. She premiered in a spin-off Street Fighter comic as a rival to Sakura, which led to her appearance in Street Fighter Alpha 3, where she had to track down the villainous organization Shadaloo, who was threatening her family's corporation, and while doing so, she thought it would also be a good time to challenge Sakura. But on the way, she learned that there are pretty cool people in this world, and it's not if you win or lose, it's how you play the game, making her a more thoughtful person by the end. Though she's still gonna laugh at you since that's her signature. This version of Karine and that laugh was all we had from her for about 20 years. Any appearances she had in crossovers used that sprite, and I mainly just knew Karine as the laughing girl for all those years. She never appeared in Street Fighter 3 or 4 or any crossovers that facilitated a 3D model, but finally in 2016 in Street Fighter 5, she got an update.
We'll show you the divide in our class.
Nice default design, pretty similar to her old look, but she has a lot of costumes now, and she runs the family corporation. But where's the laugh, you might ask? Well, first, you get it right on the character roster, since when you select her, the laugh is her special line.
Karine Kanzuki.
And during the match, the laugh has been escalated to being a part of her super move, and it's everything I could have ever asked for. You get a nice display of her attacks, and after the finishing blow, she does the laugh at a cinematic angle to double it up as a taunt. The presentation is immaculate, and her array of elaborate costumes really helps grind in the arrogance. Look at all these. My favorite is the beach outfit. She needs that hat and sunglasses. Finally, Karine's best moment involving the laugh in this game was in the story mode, where she's leading the charge against the Shadaloo dolls, and she challenges their leader Nero. And how does she initiate this interaction? With an Ojou-sama Laugh off. Okay, that's it. We've reached peak. Karine was not even on my radar as a character I wanted to return in Street Fighter 6, but after talking about her now, I do kinda miss her. So congrats on getting number 1 on this list, Karine. May you oh-ho-ho with pride. Now, what did you think? Did all these ladies make a good name for the Ojou-sama Laugh, or are some of them too arrogant to back it up? And what are some of your favorite Ojou-sama laughers in all media? It doesn't just have to be fighting games. Let me know in the comments. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.